All right, we're back, folks, with former Republican Senator from Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum. Rick, let me ask you about this craziness that's been going on in Houston, the Houston pastor scandal, if you will, that they were subpoenaing the sermons given by certain pastors to see what they said about homosexuality and other social issues. The mayor said she knew nothing about it and has now backed off. This really is the slippery slope that so many of us, led by you, have feared.
Look, first off, the mayor knew, and everybody in that administration knew. This is not an isolated incident. This has been going on for weeks and months in the city of Houston. The city of Houston, the mayor of Houston, has passed an ordinance called the bathroom bill, which is saying that you can basically decide what bathroom that you want to go to, because gender is not a physical thing; it's a state of mind. And so you can go to whatever bathroom that you believe you are that day. Fine. The community rose up against it. An organization was formed. They filed petitions to have a referendum on the ballot. And what did the mayor and her lawyer do? They superseded, and this is what this lawsuit's all about. They superseded the authority of the Secretary of the City of Houston to certify these signatures. There were 55,000 signatures. The Secretary went through 20,000 and said there was a 93% correct rate and that there was no problem. They had plenty of signatures. So what did the mayor do? She had her attorney step in and go over these petitions himself. And what he did, he threw out 2/3 of the signatures. That's what this lawsuit's about. That the mayor and her council violated the voting rights of the people of the city of Houston. So they took the ballot initiative off the ballot for this fall. That's what this lawsuit's about. The mayor and her lawyer are absolutely engaged in this. This is a passionate issue for her, and to suggest, and by the way, and there's a back and forth in this, but these churches are not part of the lawsuit. But they are the people who have been drumming up support to try to overturn this law, and she is trying to silence them. She's trying to get them to back off, and that's why the subpoenas went out. And so this has been a personal thing on the part of the mayor. This has been a personal thing on the part of her lawyer. So the idea that a subpoena went out from the mayor's office that her lawyer and she didn't know about is absurd. This is all part of the intimidation that has been going on in Houston for months to try to get the people of faith in Houston to conform and shut up.
Yeah, and do you believe we'll see more of this, depending on what happens here?
Well, I released a movie. My movie company, Echolight Studios, just released a movie last month, and we're playing it in churches. And it's a movie called One Generation Away. You can go to onegenerationawaymovie.com. Please have your church play this movie. That people in America need to see. This is not an isolated incident. You will see 8 cases that we discuss that are similar affronts to religious liberty and freedom of speech. And that's what's going on in America today. This is not an isolated incident. You please watch this movie. Please show it. And by the way, we've offered every church in Houston this movie for free. They can show it in any church in the Houston area. We're going to let them show this movie for free in their community to make sure that they know they're not alone, that this is not just happening in Houston, it's happening across this country.
OneGenerationAway.com, is that what you said?
OneGenerationAwayMovie.com.
Gotcha, OneGenerationAwayMovie.com. All right, let me ask you this. You're back from Iowa. I read somewhere yesterday that you made a very kind of definitive statement. Kind of definitive is kind of not right, but
kind of definitive. Yeah, that's.
So, you're running for president yet?
That's definitive.
Yes, are you?
What I said is I'm doing everything consistent right now, putting a team together, talking to folks about putting some money together, and looking at a team. We're as I said, we're seriously looking at this, and we're seeing if we can put the pieces together. We're not going to make any decision till probably well into 2015, but our feeling is that. Given what's going on in the rest of the world, I don't know if you saw just recently the New York Times report on the weapons, the chemical weapons.
Chemical weapons were in Iraq. La-dee-da.
And by the way,
yes.
I encourage you to go back, Steve. You may remember this. You may have interviewed me on this, but Peter Hoekstra and I, who at the time was the chairman of the
House Intelligence Committee, yeah.
We did a major press conference in 2006. saying everything that was in the New York Times article we laid out 8 years ago.
Wow.
And the media ignored it.
Wow.
Ignored it.
And they're ignoring
They
it
said
now,
it's not relevant.
except for the New York Times. Right, they're still ignoring it. Let me ask you, do you believe Romney should get in the race or stay out?
The more the merrier. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and I've said this, I think every American should run for president. It's one of the greatest things you ever do in your life. It's a great way to see the country and understand how great this country is. So if Mitt Romney wants to give it a third try, go for it. My feeling is that we have a lot of good people looking at this race, but there's only one person in this race that has any national security experience, and you're talking to him on the radio, and that's of all the people looking at this, there's only one who's looking at it that has the kind of experience and has a track record of identifying the enemy of radical Islam and dealing with it effectively and in a bipartisan way, and getting things done in Washington.
And doesn't run from social issues either, which is also very important.
Look, I embrace it.
Rick, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time, but I got to go. We'll have you back soon. Thank you so much, my friend.
You bet.
All right, Rick Santorum, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. But first, we take a look back at President Ronald Reagan's TV address announcing his Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, to counter Soviet attacks with this hour's American Moment. Don't go away.
I call upon the scientific community in our country, those who gave us nuclear weapons, to turn their great talents now to the cause of mankind and world peace.
On March 23, 1983, President Reagan surprised not only the nation, but members of his own cabinet and military by announcing an Oval Office address that the United States would embark on creating an anti-missile system to stop and destroy nuclear-tipped missiles in space. Reagan called the program the Strategic Defense Initiative, or SDI, while his critics quickly dubbed the program Star Wars. Still, the idea gained popular support and played a key role in undermining the Soviet Union and its arms buildup. By 1987, with his own nation facing economic collapse and unable to match the U.S. program, Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev capitulated and signed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. Within 4 years, the Soviet Empire itself would collapse, ending a Cold War that lasted more than 4 decades. You're watching An American Moment on Newsmax TV.
The Pentagon says U.S. forces carried out more than a dozen strikes near Kobani in the past 2 days. Hi, everyone. I'm Olga Villaverde, and this story tops your Newsmax Now update. The Pentagon reports the airstrikes hit 19 ISIS buildings, 2 command posts, and 3 sniper positions. The Defense Department says the targeting was very precise. Now, a monitoring group says the strikes have stalled ISIS near the Syrian city of Kobani. Kurdish fighters along the Turkish border say they've been able to retake some ground. Back in the U.S., President Obama says members of the National Guard may be sent to help combat Ebola in Liberia. The World Health Organization reports the death toll is more than 4,500 people. Meanwhile, a Texas school district closes 3 schools after learning that 2 students traveled on the same flight as Ebola-infected Dallas nurse Amber Vinson. Vinson contracted the virus after treating Thomas Duncan. That's your Newsmax Now update. Remember, always stay tuned at Newsmax.com.